Hello again, Dead Frontier. This is Nimbles with part 6 of my video tutorials. In part 3 or 2 or so, I forget, I went over the arena, but this time I'm going to go over it a little bit more in depth, because if you want to excel in the arena, then you do need to know a few specific things, because it is a little bit complicated because of multiplayer sync, which is obviously not even close to perfect. Which Admin Pwn, he did, Admin Pwn improved it since 2D, but in 3D it is still bad. And so I will be explaining with a wonderful visual aid right here, uh, different things about the arena and how sync works. Anyways, so this is, the first one. This is being charged at. Okay, when you're running backwards in the arena, someone's charging at you. On let's say they're like halfway across the screen, they're over here. You're shooting at them, they're shooting at you. You're not taking a whole lot of damage if they're a little bit too close. Don't This isn't full scale size. It's more like you're right here and they're over here and your screen is this big. Anyways, crap. So the point is that on your screen, they're over here and you're over here, but on their screen, if they're this close on your screen, then on their screen they're probably right next to you, like charging into you, which means that you are dealing maximum damage to them with your weapon because they're right next to you, and they're doing minimal damage to you because they're still half the screen away from you. So when you're running backwards, you have a massive advantage because, like I said, you're dealing maximum damage to them and they're dealing minimum damage to you. Next is, yeah, don't charge at people, because that's what happens. I'll tell you about that later. How to charge effectively. If you really need to charge people, like, you want to go for top player kill or something like that, you got to get as many points as possible. You do need to charge people every once in a while. You can't just sit there idly and wait for them to come to you. So what you do is you hook around them. On your screen, what you do, you're over here and they're over there. You're running after them. What you do is you hook around. You get behind them and you keep shooting them while you're behind them. And then you're shooting them, and on their screen you're not behind them. You're charging straight into them. But it only lasts for about a full second or two, which is all it takes really. But yeah, so if you do this, then they'll still be firing in the same direction, even though you're behind them. So you won't be taking any damage at all, yet you will be dealing maximum damage to them because you're right next to them on their screen. You're unloading into their face. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Circling an enemy. Circling an enemy it's actually pretty good with sync because both screens pretty much see the same thing. So, like, let's say you're circling someone, you decide to cut across a circle, quote unquote circle, then he'll see this exact same thing that you see, except when you cut across, like, he's right here and you cut across, you're right here, then that's on your screen, and on his screen he's probably like over here and you cut across. So basically what I'm saying is, it's the same thing explained in the charging. You're closer to them, and on their screen you're taking more damage, they're taking less damage. It's I wouldn't advise cutting across like that. I'm just, pointing it out. And then melee users. Now you're probably wondering why it's blank. Well, that's because when you're fighting melee users, I was actually going to, write a little guide in it, but then I was looking in tips and tactics, the tips and tactics forum, and I saw that Sergeant Thompson, with his end-game player's guide to Dead Frontier, he actually has a tutorial, a little video on melee users, and it pretty much explains everything. So, you can just go to his guide and tips and tactics, and then look for it. It's pretty far down here. Just look up melee users, and here it is. Video. And it's pretty good video. It's very informative. Anyways, that's about it. This explaining about syncs is pretty much for if you have a machine gun or an automatic weapon of some kind. Although I mean, it's all the different things, they still apply, but you'll probably be fighting differently if you say have a rifle, because if you have a rifle, then you want to be as far away from them as possible, so you deal maximum damage and they deal minimum, as always, unless they have a rifle, in which case it's a matter of aiming. So yeah, that's about it. Special thanks to Rugged Dune 24, Alucard Fang, and Soul Shock X for assisting me in my research. And that is all, Dead Frontier. I will see you next time.